I'm On To Me is an underrated masterpiece that doesn't get talked about enough. The album showcases human conflict within the mind of Rav's inner world, going through stages of self-hate, depression, and what feels like a toxic relationship. It's a roller coaster from beginning to end. Even though the album is very short, I still feel satisfied with the total product Rav has presented. The strangest part is that no one has talked about it yet. I believe this album is genuinely at least a 7 out of 10 for most people. The writing is good and the production is solid with some heavy hitting beats Rav is known for, along with this decent lyricism that in my opinion sets him apart from the rest of the people in X Society. Not saying someone like Kill Bill the Rapper or Love Sad Kid are bad, I actually want to talk about at least one of their albums too, but Rav's consistent and non-contradictory writing makes me like him more as an artist. I'd compare his writing to J. Cole, not saying it's better than J. Cole, but they both write very surface level deep lyrics with a general meaning, with the occasional double entendre. One more thing, in case someone asks me about the album's like pseudo sequel Leap, I do like that album, but in my opinion it's a step down conceptually. The idea of thinking you know yourself and then realizing you still have so much more to learn is very similar to I'm On To Me. So I find the album kind of repetitive for Rav, not saying it's bad because I do enjoy it, but I wish Rav has just got a little more creative with it. All that being said, the last thing I want to mention before we get into the song by song analysis is that this is all my interpretation and by no means is what the artist intended or wanted. You can have your own opinion of the album. With that being said, let's get right into the first song, Dandelions. Dandelions is a very interesting album opener, as it's not really what I would expect from the start of an album, but I really like the choice because it sets in motion Rav's feelings. With lyrics like, I remember making wishes once casting dreams beyond the stars, yet virtue now is a distant drum. It clearly states the idea of Rav reminiscing about his previous self and old dreams. He maybe now feels out of control in his life, supported by the line, stiff my breath ain't as resolute. As resolute can mean steady, his breath isn't as steady as it used to be, implying he was once steady in his life but is now losing that steadiness and secure feeling due to something or someone, supporting earlier lyrics. In verse 2, Kill Bill states, life was a vast mattress, which to me means life was safe and comfortable. It seems like Rav is trying to imply that what he's reminiscing on is when he was a child, remembering the good times. Later in the song, it talks about having good luck ruined by a relationship with lyrics like, you blew apart my shooting star again. From this, we can take away that Rav misses the time when he was a kid, happy and hopeful for a future and misses when life was comfortable, showing how a bad relationship can ruin that and ruin your luck. Me Never is a hard-hitting banger, but I also think the song is the second most important on the album and it sets his downfall in later songs. In the opening bar, Pitter Pattered on the eggshells like I didn't matter, he expresses a situation where the speaker is being very careful, possibly to avoid upsetting someone, but feels their efforts or presence are disregarded or undervalued. It conveys a mix of caution and sense of being overlooked or unimportant. Soon after, Rav says, you see, I'm flawed at my core, I need to split the atoms, quit this planet, and finally take a trip to Saturn. This means he recognizes that he is flawed but doesn't want to do anything to fix it. Instead, he would rather distance himself. Also, when he said, flawed at my core, I need to split the atoms, it shows Rav is deeply hurt and recognizes that it's not as simple as just getting better. It's a problem with him at his core. In the next bar, Rav says, in quotes, get him out of here. Voices say, switch the channel. Which sounds like Rav is trying to distance himself not only from other people, but from himself as well, referring to his own thoughts as someone else's voices. and so I fight still despite losing initial battles. The speaker is persisting in their efforts even though they have faced early setbacks. I'm stripped of ammo, so my instincts not to hit the download on any new ideas. Feeling depleted or exhausted, the speaker is reluctant to pursue new thoughts or strategies. My movements rigid indicates a lack of flexibility or adaptability. Rav's no loser, kid. An assertion of self-worth or reminder of oneself and that they're not a loser. What am I delusioned with now? I keep losing it. The speaker questions their own delusionment and acknowledges a recurring pattern of losing control or focus. Why do I keep on snoozing in my house? Never move for shit. Expresses frustration with their own inaction and lethargy. Sabotage with foolishness amidst to self-sabotaging behaviors that are counterproductive. Whenever happiness before you outmaneuver it, the speaker tends to avoid or undermine their own chances at happiness. This, again, a lot of this is pointing to self-sabotage. Even the line "me never" is not putting himself at blame. Then I keep doing it acknowledges a repetitive cycle of self-defeating behavior. And see the rest of all my time I'm biting flesh up off the bone of every enemy in sight. Engages in aggressive or destructive actions towards others, but this is unfulfilling. But it does nothing more but spread the venom, severing my ties. These actions only result in spreading negativity and damaging relationships. My coping mechanism is incredibly trite, recognizes that their way of dealing with problems is unoriginal and ineffective. Overall, this section reflects a deep self-awareness of destructive patterns and the struggle to break free from them, highlighting themes of persistence, self-sabotage, and the quest of meaning and happiness, even if he is not intentionally trying to seek happiness. Then there's the chorus. They tell me to do better, be better. Who? Me? Never. What this is that someone like a therapist or ex-girlfriend wanting to improve on himself, but ignores, deflects, and ignores. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone like this, you know that this is very self-destructive behavior and leads to someone just not accepting help and just accepting that this is just who they are and that nothing's gonna change them. And that's not how you should see yourself. In verse 2, Rav says, analysis grips my throat, music helps release until I sleep, and now I'm only ever lucid in my dreams. I want to explain it, but I'll let Rav himself explain it as he's put his own comment on it, so I'm going to read it in verbatim. I often introspect and scrutinize my actions, thoughts, and existence to the point where I'm unable to just live. I find catharsis in making music, and so I use it as an escape. But when I'm asleep, I cannot resort to fending off my insecurities with music making. And so they sometimes catch up to me. As such, I ironically end up having to confront my realities in a place where you least associate with actually. I'm now going to rapid fire again the next couple of bars. I seek validation. The speaker craves approval or affirmation from others, which gets it gets elaborated more on in later songs. I'm as fragile as a shattered plate is emphasizes extreme fragility and vulnerability. An amalgamation of 1,000 shavings of self-doubt and self-destructive salivations describes the speaker's identity as a mix of many tiny pieces of self-doubt and self-destructive desires. My body is a cage, my mind is the captive waiting. The speaker feels trapped within their own body, with their own mind imprisoned inside, and has been trapped for ages. The sense of entrapment has been going on for a long time. You see, I used to think I had the key, but now it's clear I cannot leave. Initially, the speaker believed their mind could find a way to escape this confinement, but now realize the escape is impossible. So optimism has since long abandoned me inside my own anatomy. The speaker has lost hope and optimism, feeling abandoned within their own body. These days my shades are blue and only ever see candidly. These feelings of sadness and depression are openly and honestly expressed. I'm honestly embarrassed just how dull and repetitive my thoughts have now become. The speaker feels ashamed of how monotonous and unoriginal their thoughts have become. I have no control over my past nor present. The speaker feels powerless both over their past and current situations. I will be this till I can no longer crawl. The speaker recognizes himself to remaining in a state of mind until they're completely incapacitated. Overall, this verse plants a picture of deep inner struggle, helplessness, and a sense of being trapped by one's own mind and circumstances, leading to a loss of hope and a bleak outlook on life, and even a bleak outlook on their future. Molasses is a raw and introspective look into the struggles of complexities of the inner lives. Here's the breakdown of the verses and their potential meanings. Rab's verse touches on themes of existential frustration and emotional detachment. Key points include shifting goalposts. This symbolizes constant changes and unpredictability in life, leading to the feeling of being lost or misaligned. Bringing scissors to a pistol fight, the metaphor suggests an ill prepared for life's challenges. And it's also important you see that he said scissors and not knife, which is the normal way to look at it. Using scissors instead of a knife can imply an even greater disparity in preparedness and capability, possibly adding a touch of absurdity or highlighting the mismatch in a more exaggerated way. Feeling uninvited. Despite being part of social events, Rav feels disconnected like an outsider. Dead Inside expresses a profound sense of emotional numbness and exhaustion. No pesticide for what bugs my brain. This line refers to persistent unresolvable issues that plague his mind. Taxidermy product enterprise indicates holding onto the past and dead things, perhaps memories or failed aspirations. Blood on the road, hands have holes, vivid imagery of suffering and inability to hold on to things, symbolizing loss and pain. My smile makes people uncomfortable suggests that even attempts at appearing normal or happy are unsettling to others, emphasizing his inner turmoil. Verse 2 is square. No love, no pride. He feels disconnected and unmotivated. Everything's gravy now, sarcasm about life being fine, masking deeper issues. All in my head, recurring theme of internal struggle and confusion. Slower than I should, too fast to get it, a sense of being out of sync with life's pace, leading to frustration. Outlook on life, must have reached my limits, reflects a pessimistic view and feeling of reaching a breaking point. Verse 3 is Kill Bill the Rapper. Heels scraping bedrock, indicate feeling at rock bottom. Decomposing suggests a sense of falling apart and decaying. Swimming in the ink I sold my soul with possibly refers to feeling trapped by choices or compromises made, perhaps related to his career or life decisions. Only goal switch, changes in what he values or aims over time. Self-destruction as a weapon, using self-harm or destructive behavior as means of coping or defense. Star children on the comet's tail, a poetic image that might refer to fleeting high aspirations or a dream. Phantoms policing the streets, possibly a reference to societal pressures or unseen forces affecting his life. Snakes feasting on their tail symbolizes self-destructive cycles or futile efforts. The outro square and a sample. Feel like it's all in my head, reiterates the overarching theme of eternal conflict and mental struggles. In the sample, the ironic clinical tone of the sample contrasts sharply with the intense personal turmoil described in the verses, perhaps suggesting a disconnect between external perceptions and internal realities. Prosthetic self-love is important because it sets up for the next song perfectly with what I would say Rav's mental state is falling apart and he is now realizing it. The lyrics delve deeply into themes of self-perception, insecurity, dependence on external validation, and the struggle between self-worth and ego. which he talked a little bit about in Molasses, but is now getting its whole song. The introduction, "Yeah, I'm onto me, I really am," suggests a moment of self-awareness where the speaker acknowledges their own behaviors and mindset. This also ties back to the album's name and general theme, and ties it all together. Hey, I need to feel my perception of self-love, your attention, I'm addicted. The speaker craves love and attention, indicating a dependency on external validation to feel fulfilled. Exist more, the more I'm mentioned, I'm insecure, I need humbling. The speaker feels more significant when they're talked about, showing a deep-seated insecurity and a need for recognition to validate their existence. So dependent on everything, except for myself, I'm so conflicted. They meant to relying on external factors rather than finding strength within themselves, highlighting a sense of inner conflict and dependency. I ain't shit. No, I ain't shit, I ain't shit. And every time I told myself otherwise, I ate shit. This self-deprecating line reflects low self-esteem and the belief that every attempt to boost their self-worth has failed miserably. My cracks and bruises ancient, my apologies shapeshift, my psychology apeshit, face it. The speaker's emotional and psychological wounds are long-standing, and their apologies are insincere or inconsistent. Their mental state is chaotic and unsustainable. I'll give you both arms for a hand, both eyes for a glance. I will allow you to decide when I dance. This hyperbolic imagery emphasizes the speaker's willingness to sacrifice everything for just the smallest amount of attention or validation. See, as long as you have faith in me, I understand that I'm God, I am worthwhile, I am the man. The speaker's self-worth is entirely dependent on others' faith and validation. When they receive it, they feel quote-unquote godlike and valuable. Yeah, I'll kill myself and pray that you notice. I'll kill myself and hope you feel sorry, even just for a moment. These lines reveal a desperation for attention and acknowledgement, even to the extent of contemplating to kill themselves as a means to even evoke of a reaction. I'll speak a foreign tongue, anything to be heard, anything just to prove myself alive and have worth. I hate my ego, yet I seek its guidance. I hate the pretense, yet I need disguises. There is a conflicting relationship with the ego. Despite resenting it, the speaker relies on it. And they also dislike pretense, but feel like they need to wear masks to fit in. You see my keyhole, got no key inside it, detests the speech inside me, and it despises me. This could symbolize feeling incomplete or having a missing piece essential for fulfillment. The internal dialogue is filled with self-loathing. But if I keep it off my mind, I don't seem to mind it. Puff a cheat code just to leave this island. Ignoring these issues temporarily alleviate the pain. Using substances, quote-unquote cheat codes, is a way to escape the reality. But the wave's gonna bring me back, and one day I'm finna snap. Despite attempts to escape his mind, the problem persists and there's a looming sense of inevitable breakdown. Guess I ought to be complacent where I'm at, because my prosthetic self-love can always take the place of what I lack. The speaker resigns to the situation using a superficial sense of self-love to fill the voids within them, and also ties back to the title of the song. In the chorus, rap says, "Once I've lost her love and I lost my people, all the bridges burnt and my net worth sits at zero." This is kind of imagining a future where they have lost everything and everyone important to them. Health decays with age and I've gone full on incognito. All I have left is my fucking ego. As they age and their health deteriorates, the speaker foresees retreating from the world and relying solely on their ego for a sense of self. And the tone at which he sings says a lot in this moment, making it seem like that Rav is mad at himself, that it will be all he has left, is that something he never really had to begin with. And what I said at the beginning is that the song leads perfectly to the next. Channel F is an interesting song that doesn't get talked about enough in rap's discography, as it really sets a mood and is full of emotion that I personally never heard in a song before. And it is the most important song on this album. Verse 1 starts off with a whole lot of breakdowns, not enough breakthroughs. The speaker is experiencing frequent emotional or mental breakdowns without corresponding moments of clarity or resolution. Fill this void with distractions and obligations to evade you. They are trying to cope with an internal void by keeping busy and distracted, avoiding confronting their issues directly. I keep trying to become someone you respect and love, even if that someone ain't me at all, but it's still best for us. The speaker is changing themselves to gain respect and love from someone else, even if it means losing their true identity. They haven't felt happiness or excitement for a long time and have resigned themselves to this state. It's been a minute since I felt the buzz. I guess it'd be that way. Take what I'm gonna say right now with a grain of salt, but the line, I guess it'd be that way, to me means it also, this entire line is kind of a double entendre. It could also mean a relationship in the way that there's a honeymoon phase. So the line, I guess it'd be that way, is just him coping with the idea that it was maybe just a honeymoon phase with their partner. Pray my heart adapts and yet it never does. They're willing to share personal details to avoid addressing the real underlying issues. And I'll reveal a million personal truths if I have to distract you and myself from the actual cause of this vacuum. Despite hoping to emotionally adjust, they just remain unchanged and in pain. I won't tell nobody how to live their life. In fact, sometimes I feel like giving up on trying to configure mine. The speaker is hesitant to advise others and feels overwhelmed by their own life's complexity. I feel insecure and selfish, but don't question why, and I can't see me in your eyes no more, yet I still try. They recognize their insecurities and selfishness, but don't understand the reasons. They no longer see themselves reflected in their partner's eyes, but keeps trying to fix the relationship that keeps crumbling. How the fuck am I supposed to change myself when I don't know who I am? The speaker is confused about their identity, making self-improvement difficult. Feeling overwhelmed again, I'm so scared of letting go. I want to hold on to your hand, because if I don't, I'm a fall and I don't know where I'm going to land. This is all just meaning they're scared of losing their partner, fearing without them their life will completely fall apart, and they want to let go, but they can't, and they're scared of doing so because they don't know who they are without them. They're so lost. They're so lost that they can't let go, but he wants to let go of this person. The chorus sung by Rav is, feeling pained, feel insane, we both feeling anxious. If we're sick of this game, then we ought to change it. Both individuals in the relationship are suffering and feeling anxious. They recognize that if they are tired of the destructive pattern, they need to change it. Been here before, I have to ask if we had never left. Verse 2 was sung by Kill Bill the rapper. The grip on the relationship is weakening, leading to less of harmony. The reference to the full clip to my temple suggests suicidal thoughts as a means of escaping the pain. Loose grip, feel us slipping out of syncopation. Full clip to my temple finna help escape it. The speaker feels stuck in a repetitive cycle, questioning if they ever move forward. Rabbits sharing breath with death, invested in the restlessness. They feel like they're constantly on edge, sharing space with danger or demise, and are deeply entrenched in a state of unease. Talk in circles, walking lines until the floor is lava, mirror moving every turn. It was a gorgeous mantra. This reflects confusion and aimlessness, describing a situation where they are moving without purpose. I got so pretty playing up the strength to hide the ugly. It's either living eye to eye or let you die above me. They have been hiding their flaws behind a facade of strength. They either confront issues directly or let the relationship deteriorate with their partner feeling superior. I'm laying in the bed I made. I'm sick of crying ugly. I was the bullet in the brain inside a dying puppy. accepting responsibility for their situation but exhausted from emotional pain. The metaphor of being a bullet in a dying puppy suggests feeling like a source of pain in a helpless situation. Afraid to tweet, I wasn't eating, I was losing weight, grandmama called me, I was lying, said I'm doing great. They're scared to express themselves publicly and are physically deteriorating. Mama told me she was scared, I need to process, my favorite save file erased, I need to progress. Their mother is worried about them and they feel a loss of something valuable, like progress in a game, symbolizing a setback. I touched the blackest part of the mirror to change the gamma, tripping over the words and burnt bridges with the strangest grammar. They are trying to adjust their perception, like changing the gamma on a screen, but are struggling with communication and damaged relationships. The only time I ever thought I should paint the manor. What ain't the answer? What? They briefly considered making positive changes, but realized it wasn't a solution. And the chorus repeats itself, with an outro of, yeah, alright, please don't. A resigned acknowledgement of their situation and a plea to not go through with self-destructive thoughts. Or it means, please don't go. Overall, the lyrics reflect deep emotional pain, confusion about identity, and a troubled relationship. The speakers express a desire for change but are overwhelmed by their circumstances and unsure of how to break free from the destructive patterns they find themselves in. And I want you to take this next take with a grain of salt, as this is strictly what I feel like from these past two songs, as together, both of these songs make it feel like Rav is going through an ego death of some sorts. Ego death is a complete loss of subject self-identity. The term is used for various intertwined contexts with related meanings, like psychic death, referring to the fundamental transformation of the psyche. But Rav seems to lose himself in these songs because of the realization he's in a destructive relationship he can't get out of, or how he is struggling to live without the other person's validation. Dandan portrays a tumultuous and deeply emotional relationship marked by mental health struggles, communication issues, and a looming sense of impending disaster. Verse 1 starts with gloomy spell, doomed to dwell inside this grueling, broody hell. The speaker is trapped in a dark, difficult mental state. It's been a minute since we shared the shit we truly felt. Indicates a lack of open communication and emotional sharing between the speaker and their partner. Sometimes I'm convinced that our passion will absolutely fail, sometimes I think our relations is beyond pursuing help. The speaker oscillates between hope and despair about their future or their past relationships. Loosen up the knots we tied is something I can't do myself. Acknowledges the complexity of their problems and need for a fundamental mutual effort to resolve their problem. So despite my better judgment, I will turn to you until we can both figure this out. Despite reservations, the speaker is willing to rely on their partner to work through the issues together, because all that I and you have built is worth the fight. Even if it's mortifying, you'll prevail. Emphasizes the value of their shared history and the belief that the relationship is worth fighting for, despite the difficulties. So I ask the question, and then I ask another question, without allowing you to first address the aforementioned. Highlights a flawed communication pattern when the speaker overwhelms their partner with questions without giving them a chance to respond. Moving past the passive and half to mad aggressive, indirectly blaming you for all miscalculations. Describing shifting from passive aggressive behavior to outright aggression, placing blame on the partner. See, I forget I'm not the only one alive who struggles with their mental health and wishes just to die. This line is huge because it recognizes they're not alone in their struggles and that there are people out there just like him. And maybe this line is also trying to say, and this includes their girlfriend. The camel's back breaks, the love subsides, you open up the top kitchen drawer and grab the knife. The breaking point is reached, and the partner's reaction is to grab the knife, suggesting a moment of intense crisis and potential self-harm or violence. In the chorus, Rav says, I don't really know. Where do we go at the end of the road? The speaker is uncertain about the future of the relationship and where it is headed. Do we go on back, or do we pretend that everything is fine when we know it ain't? They are questioning whether to revert to old patterns or continue pretending everything is okay when it clearly isn't. Verse 2 starts with, okay, right, you put my hand around the wound, say hold it tight. The partner takes immediate action to address the physical injury, demonstrating care and urgency. This shows that they actually went through stabbing the partner at the end of the first verse. While you panic, search for dressings in our medical supplies, describes a frantic search for medical supplies, indicating the severity of the situation. I'm disorienting, feeling hollow as a poltergeist. The speaker is in shock and feels empty like a ghost. I'm getting cold, my face is wet, your face is close to mine. Physical symptoms of shock and proximity to the partner during this crisis moment. What just happened? What just almost happened? The speaker is in disbelief about the recent events, questioning the near disaster that occurred. We were just a moment away from a terrible disaster, and there's no going backwards this time, no fixing what just shattered. Acknowledging that they narrowly avoided catastrophe and that the damage done is irreparable. No laughter, no happily forever after. The speaker is resigned to the fact that there is no happy ending for them. And for them means the relationship, as they have reached the breaking point. And the chorus plays again. The lyrics convey a deep sense of despair and confusion within a relationship marred by mental health struggles and communication issues. The intense emotion and crisis depicted highlight the complexity and difficulty of navigating love and mental illness. The repeated questioning in the chorus underscores the uncertainty and lack of clear direction for the future, reflecting the speaker's internal conflict and desperation.
Been walking the same road for so long, I'm ready to reroute.
The last song of the album is a message to Rav in the future, and the lyrics indicate that. However, I want you all to go listen to it yourself because it's a beautiful song and a beautiful way to close the album. This album as a whole is a beautiful mess from beginning to end. I don't usually like short albums, but this one holds a special place in my heart because I went through a lot of the troubles and tribulations that Rav mentions. It's therapeutic to listen to, knowing that you're not alone and that people all over the world are going through similar experiences. There is help out there, and it will always get better as long as you seek help and let people help you. It's important to let go of the people who hurt you. It's one step forward, 2 steps back.